वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. Chapter 2 and the verse 52. Verse 52. Yada te moha kalilam Yada te moha kalilam buddhir vyati tarishyati buddhir vyatir tarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam tada gantasi nirvedam Shrotavyasya Shrutasya cha Shrotavasya Shrutasya cha. Okay. When your intellect crosses the mire of delusion, you will then acquire indifference to what has been heard and what is yet to be heard about enjoyments of this world and the next. Srotavyasya Shrutasya cha. Now, in these next two verses, Bhagavan Krishna explains the steps to attain the blissful supreme state, blissful supreme abode, which is free from blemish, spotless, which is free from blemish, spotless. That we must keep in mind. So, yadate moha kalilam buddhir vyati tarishyati. The state which favors egoism in this body and attachment for the body, family, kinsmen and objects is called delusion. Actually, there is no egoism in and attachment for the body, etc. They are merely assumed pleasure and displeasure in favorable and unfavorable circumstances and evils, such as partiality, hatred, envy, and jealousy, etc., are quagmrin. Someone has to pronounce this correctly. Okay. When the intellect of a man gets entangled in this mire of delusion, he is perplexed and cannot think properly. Very important thing here we need to understand. The whole Bhagavad Gita wants us to do all worldly duty without getting attached. That is more important. We need to understand, and we need to put in practice. Once we are in this material world, we will have to carry our job, our duty. There will be some duties, social duty or whatever it is, expected. And still, we should not get attached. That is more important. That is more important. And that's the very reason I have mentioned so many times in our classes that Mahatma Gandhi has, in his commentary, has said that if I have to say about Bhagavad Gita, I will name Anasakta Yoga. Yoga, use, mean to join, to get connected. You can, connection means we have whole 2-3 session for to understand the yoga in last year. So basically yoga is a connection between the individual soul and Supreme Soul. So that connection can only establish if in this world, in this material world, we do our all duty and yet do not get attached. That's, you can say even this is the central idea of the whole Bhagavad Gita. And I have mentioned so many times in our classes about the Arjun Gita. Very nicely said, Arjun Gita. संसार में सरस्यो रहे न मन न मारे पास, संसार में ले पाए नहीं ते जानो मारो दास. He will do all his duties, but not get attached. So, the person himself is sentient, sensitive, but by accepting his affinity for the insentient body and things, etc., he identifies himself with them. My body, my life, my family. Yes, technically yes. Even if the body, in the definition of world, it is my body. Yes. But in another way, I am not the owner. I am not the owner of this body. I don't know whether we can use the word custodian. It's given. There is a very nice even bhajan. જીવ સાને ફરે છે ગુમાનમાં તારે રહેવું ભાડાના મકાનમાં. Guman means ego. Jiv is individual soul. You, me, all. Right? So why you wandering in this world with full of ego? The mere fact that you are renting the house. Renting the house means the body. The lease or the contract here, the contract for the body in another way is not signed by the both parties, signed by him only. signed by him. 70 years, 80 years, 30 years, 20 years, 85 not out. So, તારે રહેવું ભાડાના મકાનમાં. The fact is that what you think is mine is not yours. So, the thing is, no ego, no attachment, and yet doing all the duty. He gets engrossed in worldly pleasure and prosperity. This is called entanglement in the mire of delusion. But the intellect which takes the firm decision to be free from the worldly pleasures and prosperity and to attain salvation is called intellect. Here, at I think, yeah, I think 10th chapter, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. Buddhi, intellect. I have told you, Buddhivadi, Buddhijivi, and Buddhinist. 3 words. Buddhivadi. Bhagavan has granted intellect in his or her life. But what he is using or she is using for? Just for the sake of argument. The another group of people, Buddhijivi, means Bhagavan has granted intellect in his or her life. And with this, he or she is making his surviving. That's the only use he is doing or she is doing for his or her buddhi. And the Buddhinist, highest stage, you can say, where whatever I understood, for whatever I have convinced myself intellectually, I will put in practice. That is Buddhinist. And he is the very reason Bhagavan has told that the intellect which takes the firm decision to attain salvation is called the intellect transcending the mire of delusion. That intellect we need. That's why Bhagavan has told Bhagava Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. That buddhi will establish a connection between you and me, between individual soul and universal soul. That is only known as Buddhi Yoga. Otherwise, all worldly thing, if I have read so many things, if I remember so many things, if I have good memory, I will argue and defeat you. Buddhivadi. Because all so-called scholar, they are really highly intellectual. They are blessed with the good intellect. Organize my lecture for an hour or so. You must welcome me. Then you must do the vote of thanks. Then I eat the milk with almond and saffron. Then we'll give you a talk on Atma and Paramatma and self and non-self and higher self and duality, non-duality. That's it. One monk, so rather I don't use the word monk, sannyasi rather, that's sannyasi. So he took the sannyas, means sannyas means renunciation. And maybe to taste him, or maybe to teach him a lesson, or maybe to demonstrate the whole world. What happened that the sannyasi, and he was just passing through. He has given some, he has done some satsang in, then he was moving from one gam to another, or one place to another. Normally, what they carry is known as kamandad. In that kamandad, they used to eat and to wash the mouth or what, it's one. Because they have renounced everything that they normally carry. So it's left behind, and he sent message with somebody that please make a necessary arrangement to send my commander. The person replied, it's very subtle meaning, okay? The person replied, commander and yours? Once you renounce everything, you are not supposed to use even the word my commander. That's subtle. But nowadays, anybody and everybody will become sannyasi and put the anand. Let me tell you, you will hardly, I mean, of course, I also learn it from my guru, so nothing belongs to me. So I was listening to my guru's discourse, and he was explaining about namaskar and everything. If I'm not mistaken, the reference you may get of what I'm going to share with you is, you may get this in the book called Yati Dharma Sangrah. When we go to mandir, right? When we go to mandir, normally we do like this. We do like this. if not full down, bow down, at least this. That's normal for you, for me, or you can say the all householders. When I was listening to my Guru's discourse, he said when the sannyasi go to mandir, they will keep like this, not this, or not this, like this. Meaning, I don't want anything from you, even Bhagwan. Directly or indirectly, when we go to mandir, we are a bigger beggar. I am not using the word you, we. We are a bigger beggar. But when sannyasi go to mandir, they keep like hand lights. I mean, it is expected for them to keep hands like this. Who is doing like that, I don't know. Even I have noticed somebody, I can't disclose. Yes. So from Bhagwan, I don't need anything. I'm not asking anything. I have totally surrendered myself or my life or whatever it is in your lotus feet. Or I have taken refuge in your lotus feet. Now it's up to you. It's entirely up to you. Whatever, however, in which way, in which direction you want to take, fine. I don't have my personal wish or desire. That is sannyasi. That is sannyasi. But now, if we say this kind of definition and everything, sannyasis are after ashram. They want to build the ashram. I am not against of that ashram. But at least don't introduce yourself as a sannyasi. Be householder or all Rusi. Be it Vasishtha or Kashyap. They were all householder. And they used to look after thousands of children who were studying in their ashram. They were not sannyasi. So, at least, because then they want to build the ashram. On top of that, they want to be one of the trustees of the ashram. Oh. Don't introduce yourself as a sannyasi. Fine. Carry on. But these are the things. Sannyasi means that's an example I gave you. Kamandal. And yours, my kamandal? No. Now you are supposed to have the next level in your life. Nothing. So, what it says here, Bhagwan says, the firm decision to be free from the worldly pleasure. There are two means to cross the swamp of delusion: discrimination and selfless service. Discrimination is Vivek. I must know. My intellect should guide me. These are the do's and these are the don'ts for me in my life. Or in my, as I'm a householder, if I'm working, I'm doing a business, or whichever field, discrimination, Vivek, and selfless service. This calm karma. Absolutely no expectation. And yet, I will keep on doing. Not for a day or two. Not for a while. to get acknowledgement. Keep doing, keep doing, keep doing. And that's why it's written here. There are two means to cross the swamp of delusion, discrimination, and selfless service. Acute discrimination between the real and the unreal, which I explained you earlier, is do's and don'ts. This is I'm supposed to do. This is I'm not supposed to do. Not supposed to do. Between the real and the unreal makes one indifferent to the unreal world, and a keen desire for selfless service for the welfare of others. Welfare of others, that thought or that kind of action, when it comes in our life, only and only we are convinced intellectually that other is not other but my brother. The supreme reality, who is generating, operating my body, generating, operating his body, her body. Then the selfless service will start. Then the person will start thinking about the welfare of the others. Because in his or her eye, there is no other. And that very reason, Bhagavan has explained in the 12th chapter, the 36th quality, Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha. So, selfless service for the welfare of others enables one to renounce the desire for one's own pleasure. Difficult to renounce the desire for one's own pleasure. I have told you this so many times in our Geeta class. The word seva means selfless. That is number one. The word or the platform of seva, to dilute my ego. Unfortunately, the platform of seva became to feed one's ego, to nurture one's ego. No, turn it. One's own, to renounce the desire for one's own pleasure. In the same way as when a disciple for the preceptor, a son for the parents, a servant for his master, develop a wish for providing all sort of comforts to them, then their desire for comfort goes away automatically. It's not a slavery. It's an understanding. Disciple for his master, children for their parent, servant for his master. That is expected. These are very subtle thing, most interesting thing, right? And that's why I always tell and keep on telling that if this Gita is going to help me after my death, who knows? It should help me now, in this life, to make me a better person, to make me a better citizen of this world, to make me a better father, better husband, better brother, better person. And this is what Gita teaches us. The discipline of knowledge is somewhat difficult to practice because the desire for pleasure may linger on in it. When a striver comes across pleasures, he deviates from his spiritual path and inclines towards them. But a striver who has the feeling for service to others utilizes the material for the service of others. Here, Swami Ram Sukdaji try to differentiate, try to explain, or try to give the comparison about the Gnan and Karma is Seva, because then you put in action. Although it's all interconnected, but knowledge is something, of course, Bhagwan himself told, Nahi gnanena sadasam pavitram. That is definitely sure. But at least in our hand, we can start acting. We can start do some action, do some service for the mankind and world at large. So he deviates from his spiritual path and inclines towards them. But a striver who has the feeling for service to others utilizes the material for the service of others, and thus his desires for pleasure perishes easily. Therefore, Bhagwan Krishna has mentioned the discipline of disinterested action, selfless work, as a superior to and easier than the discipline of knowledge. The reference is there in 5th chapter. And by it, a striver quickly reaches Brahma, the supreme reality, the absolute. Okay. Tada gantasi nirvedam srutavyasya srutasya cha. This second part, I think we will try to understand next week. Srutavasya srutasya cha. To listen to hear. That's what you are doing. The 9 steps of bhakti, Shravan, is the first step. First, to listen to. We'll try to understand. We'll try to understand this more about that. Tadagantasi nirvedam srotavyasya srutasya cha. Anyway, in today's discussion, whatever you like, credit goes to all the scripture, all the great men, all the scholar, all the wise men. Whatever I have heard, I have read, I have studied, absolutely nothing belongs to me. The food is cooked by somebody. I'm just serving. I'm just serving, right? Okay. In the process of serving, okay, of course it is not acceptable, but in the process of serving, right, okay, the spoon fell down, right? Okay, the spoon fell down, and the person who is serving is but cunning like me, okay? So, before you notice, I took that spoon and put again in that serving bowl, but still there can be dust on the spoon. So, if you found any dust in this, that belongs to me. The food which came, that's pure. So those who have cooked is pure. There can be fault in serving. So bear with me. And yes, our main reference book is Sadhak Sanjivani. Swami Ram Sukdas ji, we must express our gratitude in his lotus feet. For Swami Ram Sukdas ji, it is written that he has lived Geeta in his whole life. That's Swami Ram Sukdas ji. And at least we are fortunate to have at least the main reference book for our Gita class. 73rd verse, 18th chapter to conclude, followed by the Arti. Nashto moha smrutirlabdha tvatprasadan mayachyuta sthitosme gata sandeha karishyē vacanam tava.